Hi, welcome to Home and Away. I'm your host, Kathy Hamilton, and this week I have a delightful home in the Oread neighborhood to show you, a delightful guest to introduce you to, and in our third segment, Chris Armstrong from Carlson Vaughan Lee Travel will give you a delightful destination. Here we go. This week we're in the home of Elvira Angeletti, a local interior designer who happens to live right next door to the store, which is a wonderful way of living and working, I would think.
Oh, it is.
It's working for you.
Wonderful.
This is a home that I think everyone's noticed as they cruise along 9th Street. It's one of the oldest homes in town. Is that what you told me?
Well, it was built in the mid-1860s. So I don't think it's the oldest, but it's old.
Yeah. How much of the history do you know of this home?
It was built, as I said, in the mid-1860s. It was built by a blacksmith. It's a very, very simple Victorian home, as you will see later when you tour. It doesn't have a fireplace. It was very unembellished. Mm-hmm. And some of the embellishments, of course, we have added, such as the window fretworks. We put in a new staircase and the pillars and the going from the sitting room to the kitchen. Those were all added.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've done a lot to this house, and I'm going to sort of go detail by detail
along the way.
Mm-hmm. But did you tell me that you lived in here, you rented the home before you actually...
For quite a few years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what made you decide to take the plunge and buy it and make it your own?
Well, we have a farm in Canada, and we just had too many houses to take care of. Mm-hmm. And the children were going off to college, and so we decided that we would live in it and do some work to it.
Yeah. And did the shop come as part of the package?
Yes.
You did? Oh, well,
and
so
also the little house next door.
Okay.
The house on the other side of this. We redid that house and we rented.
Yeah. The exterior is so cute. Mm-hmm. Did you pick the colors and paint it? And what kind of a process was that? Did you look at a lot of pictures of Victorian color schemes, or was this sort of your own?
I just picked some colors I liked and works on this corner. And we did change some of the exterior, the back porch, some of the exterior work we did.
Mm-hmm. The theme of this show, Elvira, is going to be how to make the most of the space that you've got. And in this case, as you point out, there's not a lot of space here.
Very little space.
Yeah.
And the house looks bigger from the outside than it is. I think you'd agree. Don't you agree?
I think I agree.
From the outside it looks bigger, but it's only 1,600 square feet. And 1,600 square feet in a two-story house is very, very small.
Mm-hmm. And it's unusual, well, in many ways, but the first thing that strikes you when you walk into this house is that the kitchen is your entry hall.
The entry hall.
Which is, I think anyone would admit, pretty darn unusual.
Well, we didn't add on to the kitchen, and it's very efficient. I like a small kitchen. One of us works at a time. Two can work in the kitchen, but it works for us. It may not work, for everybody, but it works for us. It's very efficient.
Mm-hmm. Now, you had an issue with the little peninsula that sticks out. That was a question as to whether you wanted to keep that. You were advised against it,
right? And
you stuck to your guns. Mm-hmm. And said, I'm going to keep that there.
I have to have that. I have to have it out in the open. I don't like looking into a wall. We had no choice with the sink. We had to have it against the wall. But I do like it in the open. Uh-huh. And then of course it gave us seating at the little bar.
Yeah, and I'm sure that many of your clients, people that you work with who aren't in these huge Alvamar type homes, that have space constraints, are faced with some of those same issues, and you have to decide what do I want to keep, what do I want to give up, what do I really feel strongly about, and yet how is it going to flow, and
Exactly.
was that difficult for you to do in this space? I mean, throughout the house?
No, I think at all times you have to keep in mind balance and how the space is used, and everything has to work with the balance and the use of the room. Once you have that, furniture arrangement, it all falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like large furniture, you can take a small room and use large furniture, just not very much.
And that's something you
Otherwise.
say is a common mistake, if I can use that word, that some people make with the advent of all this big overstuffed furniture that's so popular now, all the Pottery
Right.
Barn type stuff, that people tend to cram too much into too small a space.
Too much into too small a space, or things that don't balance with the large furniture. You have to have large pieces to balance. I mean, your lamps have to balance with the large sofa. Well, that has to balance.
Yeah. Now, I know that you got a lot of help from a local fine woodworker, Matt Kirby.
Matt Kirby. Matt Kirby did all of the work, interior and exterior, that we did to the house. He redid the staircase. He did the opening. The opening to the kitchen, from the sitting room to the kitchen, was just a doorway, and we opened that up for visual space. And he built the bookcases in the living room here, and or rather, this is the dining room. I've rearranged the space in this house. The dining room that was originally the dining room is now the sitting room. And we jokingly call it the library because of the wallpaper. And this is the music and dining room. So, but it works beautifully. And many times I do this, rearrange the, especially in the older homes, because our style of living is totally different.
It is.
Today.
And yeah, I know my parents have taken what used to be our big family room and have made it this incredible dining room. And now their sitting room is actually a pretty small, cozy room, because it's just the two of them. Why do they need the huge family room? Well, so did you remove a wall then, going into that sitting room?
Yes, we removed part of a wall. Where you see the archway, that was just a doorway at the end of the staircase. And the one side of the staircase was solid. It was a solid wall all the way to the kitchen. So you would walk in. I got that wrong. The doorway was on the other side of the staircase. And when you walked down the staircase, you walked into a wall. I mean, you would walk into a wall. I mean, it was that was a wall. So what we did, we opened that up. So it gives a lot of visual space, and of course
much better.
And also, and then he rebuilt the staircase on the other side, and that is open to the, which was not before. So it makes that room seem much bigger too, because you look through to this room.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. That must have been a remarkable before and after transition.
It was very interesting. I really like working with Matt. He's very creative, and you can discuss ideas with him, and you know, we just discuss with each other.
And while we're on the stairs, the subject of the stairs, this is your celebrity connection, because your stairs have been trompe-l'oeiled by a celebrity artist, or an artist for a celebrity. Tell us that story.
He painted Madonna's house, inside and out, and came to Lawrence. Actually, I think they moved to a neighboring town, McLouth or somewhere, that because they originally were from Kansas, the whole family, and they came to the shop and wanted to get started, but they didn't stay very long. They did 3 jobs and left town.
And one of them was your stairs.
One of them, but they did an entire house and several smaller jobs. But then they left town. So I went back to California, I guess.
Wow. Well, but in the meantime,
But in the
you can
meantime-
say that your stairs have been painted by Madonna's
painter.
personal painter.
Madonna's
That's
painter.
cool. And the ceilings are neat. And you say you added these ceilings.
Yeah, we had these ceilings put in. They were, this house was a rental for many years, and it had that acoustical tile in the ceiling. So we did all that work when we moved here, before we moved in, except for the work that Matt did. That was all.
Mm-hmm. And are these faux beams? I mean,
Yeah,
they're
the
just
beams
boxes.
are false beams. They're
Yeah.
just boxed in.
Yeah, which is something anybody could do pretty easily. I mean, you'd have to know something
you'd
about
have to know
carpentry, obviously.
But
But
we do that frequently.
Yeah.
And it works.
and is there something visually that these horizontal lines do to a room space-wise? I mean, does it give the
Makes it
illusion
wider,
of width?
probably width.
Yeah, because I was
Anytime.
thinking of a couple rooms I have that maybe the ceiling like this would help
Would help.
visually. Well, we're going to continue our tour through your home. We're going to talk about those new bathrooms you just
Great.
put in, and probably give you a lot of decorating hints along the way. Stay with us.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're not going anywhere until you put on your safety belt.
Who is that?
What about your family? Wouldn't they want you to buckle
Yeah,
up?
but it's a hassle and it's uncomfortable. Man, I must be going nuts.
Look, safety belts work. Just put it on for your family. Besides, I know what I'm talking about.
All right, I'll do it.
When it comes to news, we've got you covered. 6 News, your home team connection. Weeknights at 6 and 10, only on Cable Channel 6.
And we're back with Elvira Angeletti. And Elvira, I want to talk to you about some of the unique things that you've done to this house. The first is this upholstered wall in this room, which is kind of an illusion because you don't realize it's upholstery until you
Till you
rub up
feel it.
against it, till you feel it. Yeah.
It's they look great, and also, you know, it's great for insulation. It's great for sound. And being the music room, you know, that we have. Of course, we don't have hardwood floors in here. There were hardwood floors in here, but the foundation is uneven, and they keep shifting, and so we had to make that concession. We really couldn't have hardwood floors in this room. And but the upholstered wall is very, very nice for sound, and but it's also quite expensive to do.
Yeah. But you've
So it's
chosen
just a small
Yeah,
wall.
you've just done one very small wall and then picked coordinating wallpaper for the other 3 walls, and it really works. So this is something people could do in their own homes just on a single wall. But you say don't try this at home.
Tried.
It's dangerous.
We did, my husband and I did try it in another house. Our marriage survived, but however, it's very difficult to do.
Worse than hanging wallpaper.
Oh, it's very difficult
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
It's an experienced upholsterer really needs to do it.
Needs to do it.
It's in the stretching and getting it even, and that especially because there are lines going, up and down, and so you have to have it to look good. It has to be perfect.
Yeah. And a new thing that you've done to this house is the addition of these bathrooms.
Yes,
in
yes.
the tower.
We only had one bathroom, and as did most old houses, and the bathroom usually was made from the pantry, constructed from the pantry, and so we talked about it for a long time, but we couldn't go out the exterior because of because you have to be so many feet from the
setback.
from the easement. So we didn't know exactly how we were going to do that. Where we needed the bathrooms were near the bedrooms, and upstairs and down. And we had many suggestions, but Matt and I finally decided we'd add a tower. And we talked about it for a couple years and finally said we should really do that tower. And so we did it in the back of the house. And it's in back of our dressing room and in back of the bedroom upstairs.
And it's Italian marble in there? Or?
Italian marble.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Well, it's called travertine, which is really... It is a marble, but it's a different type of marble. Travertine is what it's called.
Well, it's gorgeous, but I have one complaint about that bathroom, and that is the lack of a curtain or a door on your shower. So that
But
should, God
space-
forbid, someone walk into your bathroom, there you are, in your all together. But that's
Well, you wouldn't. No one would walk in the bathroom
well,
because
in my house they would.
because the vanity is is in the dressing room.
Yeah.
So
okay.
the only reason you'd go in that bathroom is to use the bathroom or to
Right.
take a shower.
Take a shower.
But it's just wonderful. It's
Well, yeah.
absolutely wonderful. We were in Italy and visiting relatives in Italy, and this is how the bathrooms are.
You're just out
they
there.
are, and I said, isn't this wonderful, all this space?
Uh-huh.
And so, not confining. It's
Well,
wonderful.
and on the other hand, it might just be something I could get used to. But it did take me back when I saw that. Oh my gosh, there's no curtain or door. Elvira. Well, I want to give people some hints because Lord knows I need them on decorating and how to choose pieces. And you do this every day for a living. And one of the things you told me as we walked through the home getting ready for this show was. You have to prioritize your stuff, and you've got to make some pretty hard decisions on what you're going to keep. And your rule of thumb is
Keep
what?
it simple. Keep it simple. Use the things that, of course, are necessary. But with accessories, I think many times homes are over-accessorized. And I think that your accessories should mean something to you. All of the pictures, all of, I always tell my clients, and at one time I taught a class, said, I'd rather see one beautiful Amari bowl than a lot of clutter. I just, now you can have various things. I mean, you see decanters there, and you see silver pieces here, and that's a collection. But you have to keep them grouped and just not clutter.
Mm-hmm. So it's the knick-knacky stuff that that people put here and there just because people just want their stuff around them.
And too much furniture, and too much furniture. And you have to have organization. I think I've studied a bit of feng shui, and it's orderly living.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've been dying to talk to somebody who knows about feng shui. And you know, that all speaks to even where your door is in your home and how it can't let the energy out because, you know, it has to be at an angle so that your luck doesn't run this way. What is up with that? And do you really...
Good spirits and the bad spirits.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you practice that in this home?
Well, it is. It all, to me, everything I've read and everything I've studied about it really ultimately says orderly living. Everything in its place. We've been told that. Everything in its place.
We've been told that, but some of us don't take it to heart like others. But yeah.
That's true. I think, and I think there's a lot to say about that. Walking in a bedroom, looking at a bed. If you walk alongside of a bed, it doesn't, it's not right. It's not right. It doesn't look right. And according to feng shui, is not right.
So, in other words, when you come in the door of the bedroom, your bed should be facing you. So you should be looking at the headboard.
But not facing the door.
Well, I'm going to have to go home and rearrange. I was afraid this would happen with this show. I go home and try to rearrange, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's much more complicated and detailed than that. It's but what I can say is back to orderly living.
Well, you've given us lots of food for thought and great decorating ideas, and I'll take them home and try to apply them as best I can, even though my bed faces the wrong way, my door faces the wrong way, but oh well. But thanks so much for having us over into your home. And stay tuned for Chris Armstrong with Carlson Vaughan Travel for his Going Places segment coming up next.
When severe weather threatens, you want up-to-the-minute information on conditions at home, not 30 miles away. Jamie Warner and Doug Hetty use NexRad 6 technology to deliver your forecast with pinpoint accuracy. Be prepared. Watch 6 News and 6 News Nightside on Cable Channel 6 and Headline News Lawrence Edition on Channel 16. NexRad 6, your hometown weather connection.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're not going anywhere until you put on your safety belt.
Who is that?
What about your family? Wouldn't they want you to buckle
Yeah,
up?
but it's a hassle and it's uncomfortable. Man, I must be going nuts.
Look, safety belts work. Just put it on for your family. Besides, I know what I'm talking about.
All right, I'll do it.
Just a few hours away, there's a paradise of enchanted waterfalls and pristine beaches. The paradise of Hawaii. Carlson Vaughan Travel can get you there for less. Carlson Vaughan Travel, the best buys going.
Rudyard Kipling once said, "East is east and west is west, and never the twain shall meet." Obviously, Kipling never met Hong Kong, but I have, and I found this city to be a magnet to the truly international traveler, where ancient temples stand in quiet watch while giant skyscrapers reach for the sky. Not much has changed since the People's Republic of China took possession of Hong Kong in 1997. The people that live within this city are charming and excited about the future. They continue to celebrate their heritage and love to put on festivals and parades. Here you will find dragons still roam the earth beneath Hong Kong's steel towers. Hong Kong stretches over 236 islands, the Kowloon Peninsula, and a small fragment of mainland China called the New Territories. In this menagerie of land and sea, you will travel on the water almost as much as you will by car. As you plan your vacation, you will want to crisscross Hong Kong Harbor on the Star Ferry to make sure you see every part of this dynamic city. The good news is the regular ferries are available almost at any time of day. In the Central District, you will want to ride to the top of Victoria Peak. There are many ways to get there, and the view is breathtaking. Victoria Peak is a must-see for any traveler to the city. My senses loved the color, the sounds, and aromas which fill the air of Hong Kong. With so many incredible experiences awaiting, you will want to plan enough time to take in a Chinese opera and visit the ancient Buddhist temples. Mobility is the key in Hong Kong, and food is an adventure. The Chinese cook everything, so give yourself a treat and try the exotic. Your chef will enjoy showing off his style and skill as he prepares a delicacy for you. However, think twice before buying food from street vendors. I also recommend a leisurely visit to the open street markets for the shoppers in your group. You will find bargains on many items such as silk, precious metals, electronics, and jewelry. But be sure you understand different grades of jade, gold, and precious stones before you buy, or you may pay more money for something of less value. Also, be prepared to bargain unless you purchase in only the most reputable shops. I encourage you to plan now for a vacation in Hong Kong. You will love this city and its excitement 24 hours a day. Each moment in Hong Kong is a celebration. I guess that's why they call it the City of Life. Travel tips for Hong Kong include: make your reservations early to dine at one of Hong Kong's legendary floating restaurants. Ask your travel agent about specialty tours like the Chinese wellness tours, which acquaint you with legendary Chinese herbs, remedies, and exercises. And one last tip, which I think is very important. As we have experienced in recent days with the accidental bombing of the Chinese embassy in Belgrade, the climate for international travel around the world can change dramatically with only one isolated incident. Travel insurance should always be considered when going overseas to minimize your financial exposure with such events and provide peace of mind. Ask your travel agent about travel insurance. I wish to thank the Hong Kong Tourist Authority for their support. Until next time, this is Chris Armstrong with Carlson Wagon Travel.